Hey guys, sorry I am 3 minutes late. My apologies. I was trying to find send the English translation to myself of the poem that we're going to be reading today. Because I can't access it on my phone because I'm doing the live with you guys. So I was sending it to my iPad, but now I'm all set up. I'm 3 minutes late, so I'm sorry. I know you guys really enjoyed yesterday's poem, Not, by Aaron Hansen. It's a beautiful one. I think it's certainly advice that we should all take, and just to love ourselves more, and that we're not defined by all these sort of social constructs that we usually define ourselves by, like the clothes we wear, what size we are, what car we drive, and that who we are and the character that we keep is the books that we read, and how we speak, and how we conduct ourselves, and how we help others. And there's never been a greater time to help others than right now. So today I get to have one of my favorite people in the whole wide world on the poetry show today, Poetry in the PM. Only PM on the East Coast because it's 1 p.m. there. It's Poetry in the AM today for me. And her name is Christina. And we met many years ago, and she's my manager, and she's Greek, and I've always loved Greek people. I told people yesterday that the last place that I lived in Toronto in Canada was the Danforth, which is a very well-known Greek neighborhood, and it's full of, Greek Orthodox churches and Greek bakeries and Greek restaurants and just amazing food and culture. And every year on the Danforth, there's a Taste of the Danforth, which is this big festival where all the Greek people congregate and they celebrate all the music and food and arts from their culture. So today I'm very excited because Christina is going to read a poem in Greek. And so for all you Greek people out there, I hope this is a treat for you as much as it is for me. And I'm going to try and bring her on now with, as usual, tremendous technical difficulties. Here we go. Already starting. It's already starting. Here we go. There she is. I think we're doing. There she is.
Oh, it didn't take you that long.
I always have technical difficulties, but that was actually not too bad.
Awesome.
You
Hi,
did
everybody.
it.
Yay!
You did it. It all worked out.
And I did my hair, so thank you.
You look beautiful.
I actually had a chance to look better than I would being a mom of two for, 3 weeks now.
I know. Yes. So for everybody who doesn't know, Christina just became a mother for the second time. When was he born?
March 26th, so 3 weeks tomorrow.
So very, very new mom for the second time.
Yep.
So I thank you so much for doing this because I know you're very busy. Mom's hardest job in the world. So I'm not going to take too much of your time and get you back to your fam and your kids. So tell us a little bit about this poem, like how you found it, how it came to you, even like how you translated it, what was involved with that, and why you like it.
So I don't even know the name of the poem, I tried to find it. I just couldn't find it. I wanted something that was relevant to what we're dealing with right now. I think a lot of people are scared. A lot of people are angry. A lot of people are confused. And I think that this one spoke to me because I've been looking since we originally discussed this. So it talks about fear and how you aren't afraid and how this is going to teach you a lesson. And I think that that's really important. And I looked on Pinterest. I did on everything. I had to put it in Greek. I had to translate. I asked my sister. I asked my sister-in-law. I asked everybody.
Amazing.
To try to help me. Yeah, to try to help me, because a lot of the Greek stuff just ends up going back to love and theater and all of those things. And I really wanted to lean off of that, not completely, but I wanted to be relevant. And I think, I could talk about this part afterwards, but I think there's a way to look at this entire situation in a positive way, rather than letting it take over your entire life and be angry about it, because it really is out of our control. And I have a whole theory behind why it's happening, but nothing scientific or anything, just something that helps me deal with it on a daily basis.
Well, I think you hit something very valid, which is that it's out of our control. And in one way, in sort of like thinking of the glass half full or half empty, one could say, it's out of our control, and spin into like chaos. Or you could say, it's out of our control. Right? So same sentence, but different attitude. And I think the attitude that you're adopting is the correct one, which is like, look, what is it going to do for me to, worry and fall into hysteria over the fact that it's out of my control? I have to just accept that it's out of my control and try to find some things that I can control and try to take solace and comfort in that. But this massive problem, no, that is out of my control. I can't do anything about that. And so it doesn't profit me in any way to increase my anxiety, my stress, depression, all these things. I know something that I've been talking about with other guests as well, and certainly friends and family, is that this is a very delicate time for mental health, because people who didn't have mental health are probably experiencing things for the first time in their life of how, what it's like to feel trapped. And people who suffer from depression and different illnesses, who feel trapped every single day, now have those conditions heightened. So it's a very difficult time where we need to stay more connected and talk to each other, check in on each other. If there's things that you feel are helping you, share those amazing gifts with other people.
I agree.
You know what I mean? So without further ado, let's read the poem, and then we can chat a bit about it after.
All right. Haven't read Greek in a long time.
It's exciting.
This is all on purpose, just so you put me on the spot. Anyway, okay, so let me move this a little bit here. Okay, so έβρεξε ψες, λίγη ψύχρα έκανε για να χαθεί το άγνωστο, έως ότου γυρίσει, πάλι να με φοβερήσει. Μα δεν φοβάμαι εγώ, έτσι έμαθα, από το λίγο στο πολύ να περιπλανέμαι. I always mess that word up. Κάποτε νοχελικά και άλλοτε δραστικά.
Okay.
Done.
Christina picked a very short one.
I did.
I'm sorry. I won't dock her any points for that, but I'll remember it.
I'm sorry.
So I will now read it in English, so the rest of you may know what it says and means. It rained yesterday. It took a little chill for the unknown to get lost until its return. Do not fear. I am not afraid. It is how I learned from a little to a lot to wander, sometimes abruptly and sometimes drastically. So for a little poem, it packs a punch and does have a lot in it. And like Christina mentioned, there's definitely a lot around the framing of the theme of fear and what we do with it, and how we're sort of taught to deal with it in our life. So could you talk a little bit more about the poem and what that specifically, means to you?
Yeah, I mean, so I think there's I think all of this happened for many reasons. I'm not sure if it's a God thing. I'm not sure if it's a whoever's up there thing. That this was a check for the entire world and universe. Mm-hmm. I think I can only speak for America because I live here, but I think a lot of us put our lives in a whole entire world of our work and what we do, and we don't stop working, and we forget our families, and we forget our children, and we depend on daycares and babysitters, which is awesome, and obviously that's how we live. But going back to the not controlling part, I think a lot of this was out of our control. It forced us to pay attention, to pause, to, I took a drive yesterday, and it was just, I never realized what a privilege it was to just drive, like to just be able to go somewhere and get in your car and go. If you would have talked to me 2 weeks ago, I was scared. I didn't want to leave the house. I just had a baby. I had a baby in a hospital. That was all a whole interesting thing, and I was terrified. But of course, it came to a point where I was like, I need to figure out how I'm going to deal with this without it being in a negative way. I really couldn't be negative. I had two little people that really needed me to not be. I had, even my dog, my husband, my family, my whatever, like I really had to put on my head straight and not freak out, because as you know me, because you've known me for a long time, I don't like not being in control of stuff. So like not knowing the ending to this, not knowing what it's doing, I was like, well, what can I learn? And I figured out that this couldn't be a better time for what I can call maternity leave, because it's not really it's just paused for, its own thing. And there is still stuff going on. And I felt uncomfortable detaching. I didn't want to go. I know this is a hard time for a lot of people, and I wanted to be available for that. Um, so I think that that's what goes to the poem of this is how I learned, and fear taught me how to swallow things like this and figure out what my next step was, not in a negative way, in a positive way, and how I was going to learn. So now I keep thinking of when we come out of this whole entire situation. Um, it goes to a place where I am more thankful and grateful, and it does cut out the BS in the world that I don't need in my life, and it makes me focus on the things that I do enjoy, that make me happy, that I don't have right now. And I think that that's a big thing.
And also to that, to when we, go back to our normal, whatever that normal will be, it'll definitely be
Right.
different. How much we need to value those things that we weren't, and not take them for granted, because we got to fully experience them during this
Yeah.
pandemic, and go, wow, like you said, just something simple as a drive. Like, in the whole busy world, when we're all working, we always talk about gratitude, practice gratitude, but it's always for things that are like bigger, right? And it's never really, we're never practicing gratitude with like, oh, I'm so grateful I get to get in my car and have a drive today. Like, those aren't really things that we give gratitude for, but they should be.
Yeah.
They're totally valid, and it's only things that, when this sort of like matrix is lifted and we're in times like these, that we can actually see the small pleasures we derive from the simplest things.
Like
And
scratching your face.
right.
You leave the house and it's like you're the itchiest. Your face could not be
Oh yeah,
itchier
like I
when you're
can't touch
not
my
supposed to
face. I
touch
can't. Yeah,
it.
yeah. Oh my god. Yes. Even something as simple as that. Sure, sure. But I'm sure the time, with your family has been nice, and you just had a baby. All you want to do is obviously be around your baby. So having the kind of freedom to do that. Is there anything you can say about being a new mom in this time, and like what you've learned? Because you were a mother before all of this, so you got to have that experience of what it was like to have easy access to diapers and resources for your child. And
Yeah.
now for this new baby during this new time, I'm sure it's changed the way you mom. And is there any advice that you could give to other moms out there who have just had babies like yourself, and how you're navigating it?
I'm going to go an interesting turn here. If you are a mom and you're scared you're going to run out of baby wipes, don't buy all of them off the shelf. There is a new mom who needs them and needs to take them home to her baby, and doesn't have a credit card and can't order them on Amazon, or is scared to order them on Amazon or whatever. Um, be considerate of other people. That's one thing. And I know that's kind of a negative turn to it, but
Not at
and
all.
also, I mean, enjoy it. I really am enjoying it. I don't have in the back of my head what I'm missing, what I'm not being good enough at, and I think that, don't be scared. You're in your house. Being in your house and being able to get away from what's out there is a privilege in itself. Some people don't have that privilege. And I think enjoy being with your family. I think that that's a big thing. We forget, we think they're going to be home when we get home from work. And right now they are, and we know they are, and they're safe, and they're safe. And those are big things. And obviously, yes, we're protecting ourselves from COVID, but you're also protecting yourself from every other problem that you could run into, when you have a newborn, any sickness. There's no people around your child. Be grateful for that in a very weird way too, because you don't have people kissing, and you don't have the worry that comes along with entering into your house and touching the baby and whatever, and who knows where those people were. So like, it's adding a whole other
Right,
safety
which is like
compartment.
fears and stuff that I'm sure you had the first time
Yeah,
around, that
of
now
course.
that's one fear that's kind of eliminated, because
Yeah,
that you're by yourself, and so there's no.
right,
Right.
right. So yeah,
Interesting. Right.
I mean, that's one thing. And I appreciate it. Remember it. I know this time with the second one, it was a lot easier for me to like take snapshots in my head of pictures of what's going on. When you have your first one, you're in a cloud and you have no clue what day it is. And I don't know what day it is right now. But I think that that's another thing. Like, the cloud will leave. You will be happy. It will be okay. Everyone goes through it. This time being harder than the rest. But once we're out on the positive side, I think we'll all feel better.
Awesome, awesome. And this poem, was it a poem that you had kind of heard about or grew up with around, like this writer? Is he sort of well known in Greece, or is he kind of more modern, or
I
uh,
believe more modern. It's
okay,
something that I went and looked, and I really didn't care if it was well known. It was something I wanted to speak to me,
of course.
versus because I did run into like Alexander the Great poems and
Sure,
Socrates and
sure, sure, sure.
all of those people, which were awesome, and
You guys
you
had a lot of
learn.
philosophers.
Yeah, just a few. They were something that I learned from, but I really wanted to capitalize on the fear thing because I think a lot of people are scared and they don't know, and the amount of unnecessary information that's out there, false videos that give you false information, and you don't know what to believe, which I think is what's terrifying right now, more than anything. Just because you're being told to stay home and do this, then other people are saying it's not real, and then there's other people saying that we're treating the wrong virus and all those things. So, what's the best way to just follow?
I definitely think it's like, I think something that Nicole and I are balancing and navigating is this very fine line every day of riding being woke, right? And informed, and also not ingesting too much media
Yep.
to increase our anxiety. Because if you could easily just spend the whole day
Oh, of
on your
course.
phone looking at all the latest articles about not just the infection, but like conspiracy theories and where it came from and how it's going to get worse and all. You could just go down that path easily, right? But it's really
Yes.
not healthy. It doesn't really profit you in any way.
No.
So just like, how can I every day make sure that, there's some big article or some big news break that, people are talking about, maybe I should pay attention to, something that could maybe protect me and my family. Great. Like, let me read that article. Let me be sort of aware and well read. But I don't need to spend all day, every day on my phone looking at all these interviews and articles and things and just giving into that hysteria. You need a break from that. You need to you need to social distance yourself from that stuff
Totally.
as well.
And I don't think they know. I think there's
Everybody's
so many new pieces of information every day that it makes people sound like they're going back on their word, or they're, a lot of the doctors and all the stuff going on with Dr. Fauci and all of those things, like those are, you kind of just can't pay attention to. The only thing I tend to pay attention to is like the local news, which is like what's going on right here. So I
right.
know what
Yeah,
stores have.
and that's valid, right? Because you're like, that's the news that affects me personally, my
Right.
community. That's the things that I need to be most aware about.
Yeah.
So okay, well, great. Well, thank you. Let's take a couple of comments. See if maybe, do you guys have any questions for Christina or I? Anything? Maybe some people from Greece. That would be cool.
That would be cool. I saw a couple Greek flags come up at the bottom.
Okay. Some hellos, some hearts.
Well, Brazil's not in quarantine. Just
Oh, really?
That's what it said. You pick. No questions. Hi.
You got some questions for Christina? Anything you guys want to say to her?
All good.
Hello from Norway. Ciao. Lots of
Got a lot of
ciao.
love here.
A lot of love.
A lot of love.
Thank you for this. Such an inspiration. Well, thank you guys.
All right.
Greek town, not Greece. Okay.
I'm reading these comments. This is awesome. All good. I hope I explained everything, and that's why there's no questions.
What have you been doing to keep busy in quarantine? Well, she's a mom, so she's got plenty to keep her busy.
Yeah.
You watching any shows with Louis, or any like?
I restarted Sex in the City, actually.
Oh, okay.
And I've gotten through 6 seasons already.
Good for you.
I know.
You're chugging
That's like
along.
my thing. Well, no, I feel like I have girlfriends and I can actually go out and experience things on that one.
Right. You feel like you're with them having a cosmopolitan, be like, oh, totally, girls.
Exactly. Totally. Except for the babies. I got to pretend I don't have babies when I watch that show.
Right. You're like,
But other than
you're
I
ruining
know. Usually when they're all sleeping. But
Okay.
anyway. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you to Christina for coming on, and she brought a really beautiful poem, and the message is definitely one we need in these times. So everybody show her a lot of love, and thank you, Christina.
Thank you.
Do my best to your family. I know your dog just had a birthday, so happy birthday, Duke.
Lots of birthdays around here.
Yeah, just stay safe out there, okay?
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Have a great
Sending you
day.
love.
Bye.
Bye, guys.